Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to the latest episode of The Modern Day Artist. Today's guest is someone very special, as I've been wanting to speak to this person just alone in general for a little bit, and we've never really had the chance. This guy's always busy, creative director, storyteller, journalist, all of the above, a little bit of everything. He wears many hats. Semaj, welcome, bro. Welcome to the studio, bro.
Yo, this is dope. Very happy to be here. Thank you for having me. Honestly, same to you. You know, I mean, we've talked back and forth. I've been a huge fan. I've told you before, I've been a huge fan of what you do. Kind of just your patience on like being ready to really put something out, but fine tune it and do it right. So I'm happy the stars have aligned and I'm sitting here. So I'm excited to see what we do.
Totally, bro. And just so, I mean, obviously there's that little introduction, but for the people who don't know who you are, why should they care? What do you do? Like, who is this person that I'm watching?
Oh man, that's a tough question. But I mean, out the gate, I just like to do dope shit. I would say the overarching theme is, you know what I mean, I love to create, I love to have fun, I love to just meet people, interact, engage with people from different walks of life. And yeah, I mean, through that comes a few different creative passions. I'm also working in sports, so I encounter that type of people too. So you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. I just like to have fun.
Crowds.
Yeah. I mean, that's what the world's about. You know what I mean. You can only have so much knowledge on your own. You kind of gotta gauge and get that information from other people.
Absolutely,
so, yeah.
For sure. So take us back to the youngin' days, back when you were legit.
Yeah. I was little.
Where'd you grow up, bro?
So I've been in Jersey City my whole life. Born and raised there. Honestly, it's truly a blessing to be from somewhere like there. I think it was named number 3 in diversity in the United States 3 years in a row. So honestly, kind of just talked about interacting with people from different walks of life, but it really magnetizes when you kind of just walk outside of your house and you see so many different people kind of coming together and doing different things. So yeah.
So what did it look like growing up? You were in this like little melting pot of a city, you know, different like walks of life, as you say. What did you do as a kid?
Yeah, I mean, first I'd start with one of the biggest things for me when I was younger was I played soccer. So shit. Yeah.
Who's your favorite team, bro?
Manchester United.
United?
Yeah.
Oh, weird. Tottenham kind of kicked their ass earlier.
Oh
this
yeah,
season,
no, we're a little down bad right now. Just won in the Champions League. So yeah, honestly, played soccer. Also played lacrosse. So, you know what I mean, that's another thing that, you know what I mean, coming from an urban area, definitely not as popular, but that same general exposure.
Exposure in a different crowd.
Yeah, exactly.
Got you.
And then I went to private school for a little bit of my life over in Hoboken.
Got you.
Catholic school, and that was a whole different type of thing because I was like one of the few black kids in my school. Definitely was a little tough at times, not feeling like everyone else, but it definitely instilled a really strong foundation for me that I attest a lot of my life to.
Mm-hmm. When you say that, like, what exactly was that for you? What lessons did you take away?
I mean, it was just like, I definitely would say it was a lot more creative focused than I would, the like general run of the mill public school, because I ended up going to public school, the public school near me for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So you know what I mean, where you versus like coming in to school and the first thing you have is like a like worship and like church service where you like sing for an hour,
different vibe,
and then you go to art class and you have like woodworking and you have like painting, and like where the general field of creativity is a lot more honed in on at that school.
At the Catholic school?
Yes.
Do you feel like because it was set up that way, like made you more creative, or like where does that creativity come from?
I mean, yeah, that is definitely a big part of it, but I also think my mom has a lot to do with it. My mom's pretty young, had me when she was young, so you know what I mean. She's very tapped into like the current scene, and throughout my life, she's always pushed me to be exposed to a lot of different things. Starting with music, I think she would go from like playing rock music and like that type of thing to like playing more urban rap and like that vibe, or like going from reggae to trap. So you know what I mean, it kind of tunes your ear into a few different things from young, and then now being someone who prides themselves on listening to a lot of different music, I think there's definitely a link there.
Did your parents ever like kind of push you to do something that you didn't really want to as a kid, but then later on you realized, like, I kind of wish I stuck with that?
I'd honestly say not really. I think my mom was very aware that I was a little bit of a free spirit from young, and obviously kept me within rein to a degree, but it was also like she was very based on kind of letting me learn my own lessons and figure out my own path. My guy friends know my mom is like the coolest motherfucker you'll ever meet.
Tight.
Like we like hang out with her and like do shit with her, and it doesn't feel like you're hanging out with like somebody's mom. It feels like she's like a part of the crew or part of the squad.
That's such a good thing.
So
to have, bro.
yeah, she finds she's able to keep things very relevant, and kind of mold her personality into like feeling like she's 2021 again, which I think is a big help, because you know what I mean. There's so many parents out there who aren't aware of the current scheme, and like
you feel like your mom had a huge influence on like.
yeah,
you
definitely.
and stuff
She
like that.
she worked in music from young. She worked with like
Oh,
Wu-Tang and
Oh,
like
really?
yeah.
Tell me about that. What the hell?
Yeah, I mean, when Wu-Tang was first coming up, they had a store over in Staten Island, like their flagship store. Very similar to like how Golf has the
Yeah.
stores in LA,
Gotcha. Yeah.
in New York, now in London. But yeah, they had the flagship store over in Staten Island where they're from, and she was a big Wu-Tang fan, and then ended up working at the store and like doing that type of thing, and like interacting with these guys, and like
Yeah, that network.
going to their
She
shit.
probably had a dope network.
Yeah, bro, insane. She'll like pull out the like old ass Wu wear pieces,
Oh, that's sick. Having vintage stuff of like something
but
from that
actually,
era.
yeah, and like you go on Depop and like all those
Yeah.
places now, and you see these pieces selling for like few hundreds, if not thousands
Yeah,
of
being
dollars.
being a kid, seeing that like this is like your environment because your mom be working in it, like you said, free spirited. That definitely had an influence on you. So in school then,
Yeah.
what were there any subject that you excelled in?
Uh,
I know you have a little bit of a writing and background,
Yeah.
just a slight bit.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah.
kind of what I'm piecing at. But
No, definitely. I mean, I've always loved to read, even from like where we're talking about like school, but I'm talking about like from young. Like there's actually this like funny ass photo of me somewhere of like me sitting in the bathtub. I was probably no older than 4, reading this like fucking book.
Put it up on the screen, bro.
Yeah, bro. This
You guys send that photo after. It'll
I
go.
got you. But like I'm sitting in a bathtub like reading a book, and like I don't know. I've always loved to read. I've always loved to intake information through that. I was like working with bookstores when I was younger, and like reading uncorrected proofs and stuff like that.
Uncorrected proofs.
Yeah. So like when an artist first writes a book, they kind of like put it out and they send it out to a bunch of people to like kind of get the vibe on like what needs to change. So I was like reading through these books that haven't actually been released yet, sending my
where were you
thoughts.
getting your hands on these books?
Word bookstores in Jersey City.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I built like a really dope relationship with a lot of the people there, and I'd go and do my homework there every day after school.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were like, "Yo, like, check these out. Here's a few books." And then they eventually they'd give me boxes of these things and like go through them. I'd come back to them with notes and like my thoughts, and they'd send them over to the artist. So,
Dude, I like that. That's really cool. You've been like just kind of really involved with like literature, I guess,
Yeah.
and like creative literature.
yeah.
Okay, so that kind of leads me into this question. Like, I was interested in like what kind of people you were hanging out with when you were in like, let's say, high school, right
Yeah,
before
yeah.
leading up to college. Because I feel like college is where you honed in on like the writing,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
was there another time when you were really?
No, I mean, I think honestly, COVID changed a lot for me. Prior to that, I was kind of around people that weren't doing the things that I was doing now, and also like didn't exactly see my vision, because I think from the time I turned like 17, 18, I wanted to do something creative, and I was inspired by certain people who were like doing really creative things and really interesting things.
Chill, I've exposed my phones right here. I'm trying to keep it on track. I didn't mean it for my ringer to go on. Yeah, it's my bad.
Doing really creative things and really interesting things, and I've always had like aspirations to do something like that, and I'd kind of like, no shade on them, but I'd kind of like throw these ideas out there, and they'd be like, I'd get clowned, or I'd like get whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I mean, I would like to touch up on that honestly,
Yeah.
because like it's super important to have people that actually like see your vision
yeah,
and like not be afraid to go like, okay, this person doesn't align with what I know is good for me and what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
And as cool as they are, as much as they're my boy, like, you know, have you had to do that throughout your life up to this point?
100%. I mean, it's kind of weird because it may have happened by force. Like these friends that I was talking about at that time, some shit happened, and we ended up falling out, and I was like pretty down bad about it, as you would be. You know what I mean? You spent 4 or 5 years with these people, and like you're not friends anymore. It hurts, but it was kind of the kick in the butt that I needed to like really like look at myself and look at the people I'm around and look at what I actually wanted to do on like a broader spectrum and say like, am I really around people that are going to help me get there? And the answer was obviously no. And then kind of had to rework my my friend circle, find people who had that vision, had their own vision, saw my vision, and could help me achieve that.
From what period did you realize these people aren't aligned with what I want to do, and then how long until you made the adjustments?
Yeah, I mean, you get little hints of it over time. You kind of like bring stuff up, or you talk about things, whether it's like music taste, whether it's clothing, whether it's just like general activities. You know what I mean? Like if you're like, yo, I want to go to this concert, like pop out with me, and they're like, nah, like I'd rather just chill at the crib and smoke. It's like yeah, like smoking's cool, whatever, swag, do that. But like, you know what I mean? I think my biggest prides in life are experiences, and I'm like, that's my drive. So when you pass up on an experience to kind of do something that isn't as productive, definitely a red flag. So there was little moments like that over time, or just certain things that I felt were really cores of my personality that they just didn't get. And
most
after
of
a
this
while,
was around COVID.
a little bit before COVID.
Got you.
That's when I like really.
So like now realizing that like, you know, maybe these people are having these thoughts in the back of your head.
Yeah.
Rather, now COVID happens.
Yeah.
What are you doing with your time?
Well, first I'm cutting off or getting cut off by them, whatever. Either way, it works. But then yeah, I started listening to a lot more music. I was like actually chopping up a clothing brand with this guy over here, Brian's Flair. Shout out Brian's Flair. He's in the room right now.
Get over here real quick.
Yeah, Brian's Flair. Pop it quick.
Pop it real quick.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we started like cooking up a little clothing brand, kind of just like becoming closer friends. And he was like one of the first people who I became really close with, that shared a vision with me. And we were like, it's kind of one of those things where it was like, yeah, we both want to do this. We both want to create. We both want to make dope things. How do we get there? And it was like, it became a question of eventually, how do we get there together? And I just started finding more and more people like that. And that's what really helped me. You know what I mean?
He was not maybe not the first, or maybe it was, but like he was like that first kind of person. You're like, oh, like there are people out there that have the same like mentality.
100%. I would definitely say he's one of the first people, if not the first person. Yeah.
I forget. I remember that we can cut this stuff like that.
Yeah. They just threw a lot of information at you.
Yeah, I'm like eating it. I'm like digesting all of it, and because I'm trying to stay on track with like what we're trying to do, but while also get to know you, because me and you just haven't like.
Yeah. There's like a good time to chop it up too.
Yeah, I'm trying to like find a good balance where like someone can tune in and get good information while I'm also like
figuring it all out.
Nah,
you're good, bro.
But, I fully relate to that. Like, there's been like times where I've had a vision for something greater, maybe bigger than myself, but of course in the realm of creativity or whatever it may be. And there's been people that are like, yeah, like that's cool, thing. But that's kind of the extent of it. Like they don't go, yo, like I think that would be cool for your vision that you mentioned. They just go a word. Yeah. And then there's the type of people that you tell them about it, and then if you need something, they're there. They'll give you the ride. Mm-hmm. Like I have a homie. Shout out Alfred. He might even pop up here like randomly.
Yo.
But there's been times where like I was like, you know, I needed like, let's say I had a client and I like, bro, like my car broke down or like I didn't have a car. There's a while I didn't have access to a whip. Homeboy would pick me up from my crib, drive me all the way down there. We would like, you know, we'd took it up, talk, and like he would just always be there. Yeah. Like, those are the type of people you need to like really hang on to.
100%. I entirely related back to Brian again, but like, you know what I mean? There were just days where we'd like have an intention to like cook something up for the brand we were working on at the time. We just end up like sitting there and talking because, you know what I mean? Obviously it was like a hard time in life for everyone. So especially you're not really too far into a friendship at that time. Kind of just like getting to know the person you want to like do dope shit with and be like, all right, like, you know what I mean? Why do you want to do something like this? Or like, what about this is appealing to you? So yeah, definitely something that came and grew over time, but you definitely see the people who are meant for you over time. and I think that's important.
Absolutely. So then, backtracking, I guess, in a way to the writing and the stuff like that.
Yeah.
When did you start taking it more seriously? Like, when did you start going? Because I remember you popped up on my phone, because you know how it is.
Yeah.
When you get active, you pop up on people's phone.
Yeah.
It was like a piece you wrote for, I'm not sure if it was an event or something, and I was reading it and I was like, oh, like this is really cool. But like, how did that start?
Yeah, it's actually a kind of funny story. So, it actually goes back a little bit to like when I was chilling at the bookstore when I was younger, and while I was there, I met this woman who had a son like a few years younger than me, and I kind of just clicked really well with the son. She looked at me as a little bit of a mentor for him. And kind of went back and forth on that for a few months. Didn't see him for a really long time, but I randomly ran into his mom at like a skating rink. She's like, "Oh my God, like I haven't seen you in like God knows how many years." It's probably like 3 or 4 at that point. She's like, "What are you doing now?" I'm like, Listen, man.
Shit happens. This guy's Shaq back there.
Literally. I'm like, yo, I'm like trying to figure out my way into like doing something in music. Because at that time I was just going to concerts, but with no real purpose. I hadn't really figured out what I want to do. She's like, yo, I actually own, and I didn't know this about her when I met her, I own like one of the first black owned like blogs and hip hop publications. I was like, whoa,
what the fuck?
That's crazy. This is crazy news.
Shit just kind of falls out of the sky, doesn't it?
Yeah, literally. Like, couldn't have planned it better. So I'm like, she's like, oh, what shows are you going to this month? Like, I'd love to have you cover something, kind of just as like a trial piece, see how it goes.
That's so dope.
Yeah, so I that month I actually had a pretty stacked month concert wise. I think I went to like Billie Eilish, Corday, and Earth Gang all in 1 week. And
where'd you go to go see them?
They were all in New York. Actually, Billie Eilish was in New Jersey, but
Word.
yeah.
What year was this?
2021, I would like to say. Is that 2021? No, I don't know. I've lost track of time, bro.
Yeah.
I
feel that.
But yeah, she's like, yo, like cover this piece, like cover this artist, cover this piece, send me the piece when you're done, and we'll kind of just see what happens from there. I go to the show, I take notes, I do all of that, write the piece, send it to her, and she's like, yo, like this was amazing. Like, do you want to do this for real? I'm like, yeah, like that's my dream, you know what I mean? One of those things where trying to figure out how to get in the music industry, want to put your talents to good use, and that was the perfect kickoff for that. So started writing my articles, going to a bunch of shows, covering shows, and yeah.
Dude, that's cool. Yeah, before at the beginning you were like, I do everything but make music.
Yeah.
You saying like getting into the music. You ever had a period where you're trying to make some music?
I made a few songs.
Yeah.
we're not gonna talk about those, but yeah, I've tried my hand at it. It's definitely not for me.
I feel that because like I love music.
Yeah.
As a kid, I used to like I can't sing, can't rap, I can't do any of that shit. I wish I could.
Yeah.
If I could sing, that's what I would do.
Yeah, I mean,
and like I always wanted to figure out how to get involved with it. That wasn't that, and that seemed like the main way. But it seems like you have found that writing can be that.
Yeah,
medium.
for sure. I mean, I think writing or like the business side of things are where it's at for me. But I get in the booth and I freeze worse than the cameras in front of me. I'm like, yo, I don't know what I'm doing right now. But yeah, I love music, but making it is not my drip.
Yeah. So after like how long did you do that for?
I did that for a little bit over a year.
Yeah.
And then eventually I like picked up a few other different things, just diverted my focus from that.
Got you.
Yeah.
All right. So now in school, what are you doing in school?
So I left school for a little bit once I kind of got my first publication thing. It's like, yo, like I want to put my all into this and really like be able to have that flexibility where I can pick up every single article I can write. And,
how long were you in school before you left?
2 years.
2 years?
Yeah, 2 years. So that was 2021. Yeah.
You left like which college?
NJCU in Jersey City.
Got you.
Yeah.
You left there. Okay, and then you started after you dropped out. What was going through your head? What was it?
I mean, life was lit for me. My mom wasn't too happy about it.
Yeah.
But it was dope to have a lot of free time and be able to have that flexibility. You know what I mean? I think a big part of what I do and what honestly like a bunch of me and my guys are about is kind of just being able to be on go with things. You know what I mean? pop-ups, whether it's events, like those type of things. We get an alert on our phone and we're ready to go. And I didn't have that flexibility being in school because it's like, yo, I got to worry about class. I got to worry about this. I got to worry about that. So not being in class gave me that like clear head and that clear schedules.
And more time for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted to also ask about Never Come Home.
Yeah.
And After Party. Which one came first, by the way? I was assuming
After Party.
After Party came
yeah,
first. So
I started writing for After Party.
Let's talk
first.
about that. How'd you get that?
An Instagram ad.
Yeah?
Instagram ad. I was like, yo, these ads are working pretty well. But yeah, I started there as a writer, interviewer, that type of thing. Grinded my ass off a little bit. Worked really fucking hard because I liked the flexibility I had there. It's a little bit less rigid and structured than the first publication I was with,
which is the one,
the black owned, yeah. So I was like able to make it a lot more of my own and kind of go with the flow there. Also, it helped that it was pretty close in proximity wise, you know what I mean? Working with that first publication, a lot of it was remote, getting on like Zoom calls every single day, pitch meetings, that type of stuff. So actually having a like physical space and like a physical person to talk to, actual events to go to and like network with people and meet more creatives in the city really helped me a lot. So yeah.
Yeah, bro. The city is literally where it's at for networking.
Yeah, so you got to get out there.
Yeah, and I realize that.
Start coming out, bro.
I will, bro. I'm trying to start doing like literally like what you do, like covering events.
Yeah,
more,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not a writer. There's nobody here that writes, but I like the concept of, I told you this before off camera, bro, like the pictures, bro, just going there and like taking the pictures and being like, oh, like we did this.
Yeah,
also,
yeah.
I want to do some like interview stuff, like
yeah, bro.
like,
I mean,
this is the podcast stuff, but
Yeah.
like going there and interviewing like, I don't know, anybody that's creative there and like talking about it, I think that'd be cool.
No, yeah, I think there's definitely a space for that. We talked about it a little bit before, but I really like the concept of this because you kind of, when you're looking at interviews and looking at stuff with creatives, it's usually like the big famous people who have like the PR agents behind you saying like what to say and what not to say and like getting people motivated. But something like this, you're able to hear from your peers and hear about people who are 20, 30 minutes away from you, how they did it and how they're doing it. So you got a special thing. Just had to give you your flowers real quick.
I
had to give you your flowers real quick.
I appreciate it. I'll take them, bro. Water them shits. Bro, nah, bro. I want to like be that for Jersey. You know, I feel like Jersey, like everything's in the city, everything's in LA. Like what's like the big thing in Jersey, bro? You know what I mean?
Fetty Wap.
What's he even doing? What's he even doing now?
He's in jail actually for like 7 years, I believe. Damn. 7 years.
Bro, be chilling around. Actually, we're in Patterson. We're in his.
No,
hood
literally,
right
we
now,
are in
bro.
his hood, bro. His goons are about to come for me.
Hell,
I was
bro.
talking down on his name. My bad, Fetty.
Yeah, type shit. I'm not trying to step out of here.
A bunch of one-eyed people just waiting outside for us.
Damn, bro. Nah, but yeah. So working at this after. What did you learn? So you have your own Never Come Home stuff that you co-founded with your boys.
Yeah.
I'm sure you took a lot of what you learned at these other publications into
100%. Yeah. I mean, I think there was a lot of things that I liked, but there was a lot of things that I didn't like. I talked a little bit about structure and like fluidity before. So we wanted to have a little bit of that, but also a little bit of no structure and no fluidity. Just freedom. Because, it's a lot more free forming. It's a lot more kind of just run and gun. Enjoy life, but also like get shit done and do things.
So like, how did that go about? Like you and your boys decided to start it one day. Like, what was the conversation?
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where the two guys that founded Never Come Home with me, Jose and Emmy, we met at a music festival. Emmy was podcasting at the time, podcasting, Twitch streaming at the time. He invited me on just to like talk about life and like pick my brain a little bit. We started doing it reoccurring once a month. Eventually I became like close friends with them, and Jose got a camera and started like shooting. We're like, hey, like we can make something really dope out of this, because we all have I think the very special thing about Never Come Home is we all have very different talents, but we're able to pull them all together for the greater good. So yeah, that's kind of just like the core values of it. We were like sitting there trying to figure out what exactly we wanted it to be.
And what would you say it is now at this? Because I remember I read the website and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was like, y'all have some crazy plans.
Yeah.
But where you guys are at right now, how would you describe it?
Yeah, I mean, I would, we go with the term like multimedia company. I'm a little iffy on it, but I've made it work.
I feel that.
But multimedia company is cool. I would definitely say Collective comes to mind. You know
Yeah,
what
I like
mean?
that one.
Yeah, I like it, but Emmy doesn't like it.
Do you like Collective?
No, he doesn't like Collective. But yeah, multimedia, Collective. We do events like clothing. Is like a little like there's a little bit of everything in it.
Yeah.
So
I like that. I like that.
It's kind of hard to define, but I think we kind of like that to a degree. Doesn't really put us in one specific box, you know. I think certain people, those who know, you talk about Never Come Home, and it's not like one specific thing that comes to mind. It's just like a few ideas floating in space, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I like. Oh, I mean, when you have so many varying like talents.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to like all push them in one direction. But
Yeah,
overall,
exactly.
it's just about creating and having fun and posting it.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I really like. Yeah, no offense to whoever's out there in the next room.
No bueno.
This shit not bueno.
No bueno.
The beats are hard though.
Semaj probably snap better than this.
No, I'll play the track after. I'll play you the Grail track after.
Say that.
Nah.
All
The
right.
shit with Dylan, bro. Oh my god.
Never Come Home.
Yeah. It's family.
That's family.
That's family.
That's the Collective. That
That's
doesn't
the
want to be
crew,
called the
bro.
Collective.
Yeah. No, yeah. Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, bro. You have art. You have control of artistic expression. You have your writing. You have a little team.
Yeah.
But how do you take something from, oh, I like taking cool pictures, to, oh, let's make some fucking money?
Yeah. It's kind of hard.
How?
You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
I feel like no one really has the true answer,
Yeah.
especially at our age. But what have you, at this point, like come to learn about that whole topic? Making money doing art.
I mean, as you're getting older, you kind of start to see like, yo, I gotta figure this shit out a little bit. Like, cooking up videos and stuff like that is cool, but you know what I mean? I'm getting up there in age. Getting up there in age is like 21, I guess.
How old are you?
Yeah, 21, yeah.
Oh, I turn 21 in next month, bro.
What are we doing? We outside?
We out?
We
Oh,
outside?
shit,
Yo, we outside.
Never Come Home Modern Day Artist collaboration.
Go crazy.
Yo,
Book it,
you heard it
book
here
it,
first.
book
Yo,
it.
book it. Yo, write that shit down.
But yeah, no, I mean, first it's that one of those things, you know what I mean? It's kind of like self-pressure where you're like, I'm like, yo, I'm not in school. Everyone around me is like kind of figuring their shit out and like knowing their path a little bit and kind of getting there. And I'm not really doing that. So what do I like to do? What do I love to do? Fuck like to do. I love to do this shit. Kind of talked about it at the beginning, but the different things and the different aspects of it. How do I make this a life for myself? And I think really getting that business mind and like being able to get that together and have a little bit of a plan and like establish brand identity and realize what your value offering is to people. Cause I think that's a big part that, that sometimes it's hard to see because you're like, yo, I have a dope thing. How do I get other people to see that and get other people to align with that?
What would you say like was the way that you did it? Like exactly what you said, the value proposition and providing value. Where'd you learn that and like how did you actually use that?
I mean, I learned that a little bit through just being a big fan of different collectives and big groups and honestly artists just in general where, you know, there's specific reasons why some artists pop off and some artists don't. It's that feeling you get when you listen to their music. It's just one of those things where you can tell who's intentional about what they do and kind of just doing shit. And I say a lot when I talk about like my life and all that. I'm like, I'm just doing shit. But realistically, I think when I go to sleep at night, I have like a semi built out plan and like idea of where I want things to go and how I want things to happen and what I want to do. So it's kind of just about implementing those steps and laying that groundwork and being able to get everyone else to see that. So
yeah, one of the things that I've learned was if you're gonna be like the head of something or the founder of some shit, everyone that's working with you to make it happen, you kind of need to constantly remind them what the whole purpose was, making sure that message is there
100%.
and relayed.
Yeah,
for sure, bro.
And I think it's one of those things where when you first start something out, you want to like take all the opportunities to like get your name out there and like grow numbers wise because that's important now apparently.
Yeah, right. Feels like it's
but,
everything that matters, but
you
it's
know,
not.
after a little bit of after a year of doing this, we've kind of sat back on a lot of opportunities and looked at things and just been like, you know what I mean, does this really align with what we want to do and what our message is and what we want people to see from us? And sometimes the answer is no, and it has to be okay. Because
do you guys have like meetings?
Yeah,
how do you do their meetings?
Yeah, we try to block out every Wednesday.
I feel that.
Every Wednesday is like our day, whether it's like linking in person and getting a physical product done, whether it's hopping on Discord for an hour. And honestly, a big part of it is just talking about how we're doing. Because at the end of the day, we're best friends. So it's like you own the business together, there's money involved, all of that shit. But we actually care about each other and we want each other to be doing well, because if you're not doing well, that affects your work output and how you're feeling about other things. So meeting always starts with like a check-in. How you feeling? How's work this week? What's going on? They live a little bit further out from me. So it's pretty easy for them and they also work at the same spot. So they see each other pretty often. I'm a little bit further out, but it's kind of just like, yo, how's everything been? How are you doing? What's up? That type of thing. Go into the agenda for the week, whether it's like tapping in on like a project we've been trying to make happen, or sitting on Discord and like looking at venues for 30 minutes and deciding all together. Sometimes it's kind of difficult. You like send something in the chat, somebody doesn't see it, then it happens. So we really like try to utilize those Wednesdays to make sure all the loose ends are tied up for the week,
Gotcha.
And the week ahead.
Yo, exactly. Yeah, because right now what I'm trying to do is like figure out some sort of like structure for how things get done.
Yeah.
And like, because what we're doing is like it's a multimedia business. It's a business. Like you provide a service, you get something done, and you make the money. Yeah, that's like the core. Yeah. Obviously, as artists, the whole reason it's even being like a thing is because like we enjoy doing it, we enjoy the process, but. Like the thing that I feel like people need to understand, if there's young content creators out there, people just trying to do something within this industry, bro, like there's the business side of it.
Yeah.
And if we want to do this, we have to make enough money to pay the bills.
Literally.
So right now, like what I've really been kind of trying to figure out is how to structure, assign responsibilities, assign roles, and then have that check-in period. Yeah. So like the weekly meetup. Like for sure, like for example, me and Ryan are trying to figure this out right now. Ryan's off camera.
Shout out Ryan
for real, bro. Ryan, this kid came out of nowhere. Not out of nowhere, like he's in my frat. You know what I'm saying? He's always been around, but like at one time I invited him over to a previous podcast with Daniel Cruz Hernandez. Shout out Danny, I know you're watching. And I had him just kind of man the camera. But then after that, the following days, bro, he showed so much interest in like the vision. Yeah. And that's how I know someone's like actually sees the vision. Yeah. Because you can tell people don't give a fuck.
Yeah, 100%. Trust me.
But then someone gives a fuck when they like ask you questions.
Yeah. And when are willing to learn. It's really hard to sometimes like swallow your pride and be like, yo, I don't know this shit. Like teach me. That's like one of the most difficult things because. I don't know.
Everyone wants to know what they're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is why I don't mind fucking up on my podcast, cause like I don't know what I'm doing. Like I'm a photographer. I take pictures. Like that's how I started. I have a podcast. I'm trying to talk to people. It's like I'm trying shit, and I want to create a space where you're allowed to try shit, and like there's no real fucking up because you're making it an effort.
Yeah, exactly. And
so creating that environment. Like do you guys over at Never Come Home? Like I'm sure you follow something similar. Like you're just making shit to make shit. Yeah. It's like you have your structure. It's not like super rigid, but you have your fluidity, bro. 100%. How important is that?
I mean, brand identity is everything. You know what I mean? If you don't know your brand identity, then how do you expect someone else to know your brand identity? And I think that's one thing we really had to figure out as a group. You know what I mean? What do we want people to get when we're putting something out? What do we want people to feel when they're coming to one of our events? What do we want people to see, you know what I mean, when we're putting something out on socials, clothing wise, whatever the case may be, when we're going out just as a group or as the three of us. What do you say?
What you represent.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And it's like it ties into everything, you know what I mean? It comes down to attitude, it comes down to personality, kind of just your general mindset where it's just like, okay, I have this thing. Kind of talked about it before. I think it's cool. Why should other people care? Why should other people think it's cool? Why should other people support this? So I mean, like that's honestly like that's something you don't figure out in a day. You figure it out over time as things progress and you do more things and you get further along. So yeah.
Yeah, bro, for sure. And now, seeing as we know what Never Come Home is, shout out Never Come. Yo, put it up on screen. But the next thing I want to go to, what do you guys plan on doing?
Yeah.
What's like what kind of future things are you pursuing right now, personally, with your businesses and your brands? But like, what is there to be excited about?
Yeah, I mean, we had a little bit of a break and we kind of just went back to the drawing board on things. We were working at this like tirelessly for almost a year straight, and burnout happens, and also working with people, you kind of get tired of them sometimes. It's a lot. But we're definitely getting back to it. You know what I mean? More clothing, a lot more events. We actually have we're already in the process of like planning our big event in January.
Talk to me about that. What is that?
So you came to the last one last year. So Shake the World, our like first ever solo event. We definitely want to like take it up a notch this year around. So definitely looking at like bigger spaces, bigger venues, looking at getting artists on the bill type thing to make it more of like a performance.
What kind of things are you worrying about when you're planning an event like this?
Yeah, I mean, safety is number one. You know what I mean? If you're not safe and you don't feel safe somewhere you're going, why are you even pulling up? I think second is definitely like that enjoyment factor. I think we look for in our past events, it's always been okay, like, you know what I mean? If they're not focused on the DJ, or they're focused on the music, or if they're not talking to a girl or like getting a drink, what are they doing? So our like June event, we had tooth gems, we had tattoos. Yeah.
Got you.
Tattoos. We had like we had a company come in and like provide kind of safety products.
Products?
Yeah. So like Narcan tests and like just water and granola bars and that type of thing. Kind of just like party safety. Shout out Red Mage. But yeah, one of those things where like just being very intentional about what we're doing and making sure we kind of create a full experience.
Mm-hmm. So I remember the last event that I went to, or the first one technically.
Yeah,
the last one from you know what I'm trying to say.
I know what you mean.
I was really drawn to it because you had a place where you could network. First of all, that was like the main thing.
Yeah.
Like when I kept asking, he's like, "What is it?" It's like, it's a networking, but it's a party, but it's also a gallery.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah.
It's not pull up, bro. I see art all over the walls, and I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Like I would love to have something similar to that concept. But also it was really cool. You had the QR codes. You walk in, you have like the person there who took the photo, who did the painting or whatever, and then there's the DJ. They did their sets. I'm like thinking about what I'm saying while I'm saying it. That's where I met Mikey.
Yeah.
Cool.
Shout out Mikey Darwish. That's the goat,
bro. Because then I went to the city where I got to meet Cole Bennett, and Mikey was right there.
Mikey's everywhere.
Mikey, that guy, bro.
Mikey's everywhere. I'm surprised he's somewhere in here.
Yeah, bro. He's probably in his building. He's probably chopping it up. He's probably blasting some shit over there.
Bro, Mikey's next door chopping up the music. But yeah, shout out Mikey Darwish.
OD.
Big legend.
Yeah, bro. So I don't know. I can't wait for this next event. Like, what? Can I get a little sneak peek of what y'all planning?
Maybe off camera.
Maybe off camera. I bet.
But we hold it close to our chest just to shit happens. You know what I mean? Like we've had so many things like we've wanted to do where the time just wasn't right. So we really like to make sure that we're keeping things a little close to our chest just in case things fall through. So we go into plan B, C, D, E if we need to. So yeah, a lot of dope things coming in. Actually for November, we're trying to, I don't know, the core aspect of Never Come Home is always giving back to someone or something. It's in all of our events somewhere, you know what I mean, where we've given DJs their first ever like set or like performance, you know what I mean? You mentioned the like putting up the photos on the wall. Last year we did like a food drive party where you donate food and like you get discounted tickets. Lost the word real quick. So yeah, November is going to be some of that for sure, you know what I mean, where we're definitely looking at expanding on the food drive party. Even like just going out and volunteering at some point in November and like inviting other people to come do that along with us. You know what I mean? You might not gain anything physically from it, or you might. We might be giving something out. We'll see. But you'll also just feel good. You know what I mean? It's nice to feel good and like feel like you did something for someone else. So yeah, a lot of giving back, a lot of cool shit, a lot of dopeness, a lot of outsidedness.
Dopeness.
Yeah,
That's
that's
awesome.
what it is.
Any cool events coming up for you and like your team? Any that you're going to for work or?
I
How
am
do you
just
manage your
trying to.
schedule? I was mad.
Yeah.
Let's get into that because you like you said you work New Jersey Devils. I'm a Rangers fan, by the way.
Cut the cameras. We're done here. We're done here.
The Giants. I'm a Jets fan, by the way.
Oh, we're also done here.
Yeah.
We play you guys Sunday.
Can't wait.
I can wait. Yeah, I'm dreading it.
But yeah, how do you fucking balance having like that and like the never come home and then the after party and then like probably party, but or no party? Are you be going out?
Not as much anymore, to be honest. I got over it. 21 hit, and I was like, okay, I can do it legally now. It's not fun anymore.
Yeah, I feel like that's gonna happen to me, bro. Like I'm not even thinking about the fact that I'm turning 21.
It happened for me, and I was like, okay. And then once I turned 21, I didn't get carded for like the first month after I turned 21. So I was like, okay, what was the point of this? Like, I could have still been 19. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, occasionally I'll pop out for the vibes. I mean, we are never come home, and outside life is a happy life.
What y'all do.
Yeah. So
but yeah,
another thing about brand
balance
identity, this balance, difficult. I think that's one of the biggest things I struggle with, honestly. A lot on my plate, a lot of weird times. I think these things are. But yeah, I try to at the beginning of the week have like a general outline of things, but changes so fast. You know what I mean? Like a pop-up event will happen, and I'll be like, yo, I'm going to this, whatever, dropping this. You
have to drop shit in order to do shit.
Yeah, but I mean, like there are definitely things that are non-negotiable, and then I also like going back to the business conversation a little bit. I actually just started picking up a few classes at school. I'm at like community college for like business and management, so that's another thing on my schedule.
Damn, you're doing a lot, bro.
Yeah, so you know what I mean? It's like, it's constant. Something's always happening. Very rarely is there a dull moment. But like, yeah, there's some things that are non-negotiable where like I have to go to work for these teams, which I love. This is like,
but you don't like being tied down. I feel that.
Yeah. So it's like a schedule and structure thing.
Yeah, because how important is it for like someone who's starting something to have like a stable income to begin with?
Definitely very important. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to do anything without some kind of money because, you know what I mean, you can have products and things that you know you're going to need, but whatever it is, you're going to need something. You know what I mean? Whether it's like mic craps out and you got to like get a new mic, or you know what I mean? Like whatever the case is, even just to start like website building and all of that stuff are so expensive. They make it so expensive to live nowadays. Why is it so expensive?
Bro, yeah. No, I totally fucking feel that shit.
Yeah.
When I first started, I was going to school, right? I dropped out after 2 years, after a year and a half, really.
Yeah.
Then I was like, the fuck do I do now? Within like the first month, I realized I don't have any way of making money.
Yeah.
Started grinding it out at a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
I worked at the bar, and it was just consistent money. And then eventually, you could buy some equipment. You figure out a way to leverage your skill. My skill, obviously, is editing and photo. So I was like, okay, if I can do this, I can offer this value. I'm gonna make a business out of that. So that's kind of where I'm at now. Now I'm trying to scale that. Now I'm trying to, I have Ryan on the team. Ryan's doing social media management for our clients. Obviously, I do the video and photo production. I'm trying to find an editor, someone who can reliably edit the fuck out of shit, so I can start taking on bigger clients. Yeah. And then go, okay, if you do this, and we can finish this project. Boom, like the business makes money. Yeah. So like that's kind of where I'm at. I'm trying to build like a team, but I needed to fucking deal with rich, privileged people at a bar for like a few months.
Sometimes you got to do it.
So I can,
but it's good money though.
Dude, yeah. I mean, you can make you can have a career out of that. I just felt for me, bro, like I couldn't do that my whole life.
No, me and Jose work at a restaurant, and like they tell me stories about times at the restaurant and but also how much money they make. And I'm like, yo, that's cool,
make
but
good money
yeah, bro, it's crazy. And
I
you get that
shit
handed to you.
$700 off tips and a full shift. I was like,
yeah.
But then you're tired as fuck. You go home at like 1 to wake up and go. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, my value comes in like I love my jobs. You know what I mean? Like I go to work and I'm silly, and I'm just a silly goose at work. So
She calls herself a silly goose.
like that's my favorite part. You know what I mean? I rather like it's not the craziest amount of money. It's decent money, but you know what I mean? I go to work every day, and more often than not, I look forward to it, and I'm excited to be there, and I'm excited to interact with people, and I'm that type of thing. So,
and you're doing exactly what you should be, is growing something on the side, trying stuff. I mean, this whole business thing, it's like, bro, like you're gonna open up a bunch of businesses, and they're all not all gonna fail, but some of them are gonna go wrong, and then suddenly you're gonna pick one, do it, and it's gonna work.
Yeah.
So it's just. Dude, I feel that.
A lot of trial and error. Bro. Literally. Grind and trial and error. That's all.
Grind and try, yeah.
That's
bro.
It. That's what it is.
Like, fucking up is a part of the process, bro.
Definitely.
It's just like, I mean, for me, since I don't have anything else besides, like, I'm not studying in school or anything, so I don't have, like, that to fall back on. Sometimes you go through, like, times where it's like, should I just give up? Like, what am I doing this? Like,
literally.
I see my peers, like, they graduated college, accounting, $70K a year. Chilling with his dog and his girl in his place. I'm like,
literally nice little crib.
It's like, damn, bro.
Nah, it's all gonna be worth it. I tell myself that every day because I mean we talked about it a little bit. Like that was a big part in why I kind of decided to get my eye on the ball because you know what I mean you see all these things. I'm like, yo, I would be graduating college this year and I don't know what I'm doing, but I don't know. I'm a big believer in like time and everything happens for a reason.
Exactly.
And I don't question. Because I know this is like the life I'm supposed to have. So,
for sure.
Yeah.
Where can the people find you? Where are your socials? Tell the people.
Oh, hi.
Where to find you?
If you're here, you've been listening to me talk for like 40 minutes. So thanks. Shout out to you. My Instagram is Semaj, Semaj. That's James backwards. MCL3OD. At NVR Come Home. On Instagram, shout out After Party.
We're gonna make them pop up on the screen.
Yeah. What is the After Party username? Afterparty.ny.
Isn't
it
spelled weird? It's like after.
AFT. Oh, no vowels. There it is. No vowels.
I remember that.
Yeah, exactly.
The other thing. So on my last episode, we had somebody provide a question for the future guest.
Okay.
And you are the future guest.
Oh, God.
And that question, I actually don't know what it is, and I don't have, but I have Ryan. Ryan, at the end of Daniel's podcast, he proposed a question for our next guest.
Putting him on the spot.
Yeah. Find it for us while I talk about some other thing.
Yeah. I don't know. That's me. I got a dope ass bunch of creative ass friends that I want to give a shout out to real quick. You guys should follow them. At Ryan's Flair, at Krug Visuals, Krug.visuals.
I'm kidding.
Yeah,
You're kidding here. Say it,
yo, shout out to the boy real quick. Yeah, pop in.
Right
Yo, bro.
I cannot thank this man enough for all he does. This absolute legend.
More to come soon. This is a one of one from Krug Visuals. At nvr.jose. He's on the Never Come Home team. At nvremmy.emmy, another legend. So far, everybody listed so far, very, very impactful people. At URBEX, Urbex Daniel. These are all gonna like be linked here, so if I mess up the spelling, whatever. At Mikey Darwish, mentioned him before, but that is a legend. That's the like immediate crew that like I'm not here without those guys. So shout out to you guys, follow them, they do dope shit. Yeah.
All right, shout out Shaq.
Shout out Shaq.
Shaq, come here. Shaq is making everything possible behind the camera.
Shout out Michael, dude. I love this.
No, yeah. Shout out Michael. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, bro.
Much appreciated.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you have made it this far, thank you so much.
You need your question.
Oh, what's my question?
Oh, well, did you get the question?
Yeah.
Question.
How do you change the story you tell by yourself?
How do you change the story you tell by yourself?
That's crazy. I forgot about that.
Damn.
How do you change the story
Who was the last
that you
guest,
tell
bro? Why'd
by
they
yourself?
do me like this? Damn.
Daniel,
I don't know.
bro.
You kind of got to just like sit with yourself and be like, yo, what am I doing? How do I fix this or make this better? Like, turn it to a good for business situation. Sometimes you're in a bad for business situation. Sometimes you just gotta figure out how to make it a good for business situation. But yeah, it's a lot of just sitting with yourself and kind of just figuring it out. And like, that's really hard to do. And it's also really annoying to do sometimes because you're like, I don't want to think about this. I don't want to think about this. And you put it off and you put it off and then you feel it and you see how it's hurting you and how it's not helping you. Just got to do it and be like, yo, here's what it is at face value. This is how I'm going to fix it. So yeah.
Type shit.
Yeah.
And to end it off, what's your question for the future guest of the Modern Day Artist podcast?
Oh shit.
Put that motherfucker on the spot.
Oh, I got a good question. What's your favorite breakfast cereal?
And that's a wrap.
I didn't